And now, as I promised you, Rebecca Woodson, she is the co-founder, no, the founder and the owner of Full Out Dance Productions. Welcome to the show, Rebecca.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. And I mentioned you're in Apopka, Florida, which is not a name I've ever heard of. So tell me, where in Florida is Apopka?
It's pretty close to Orlando. It's about 30 minutes from Disney.
Okay. And do you know what Apopka means? Any idea?
No,
No.
no, I'm not a Floridian, so
You're not a
I'm not the
Floridian.
best person.
Well, that's what we're going to find out about. So we know you're not a Floridian. Before we get into the competition and what you're currently doing, give me a little bit about a background on Rebecca. Where'd you grow up? Were you a dancer? Tell me a little bit about the early years of Rebecca.
Yes, I'm originally from Bristol, England, which is in the south of part of England. And I started dance when I was 2 years old, pretty similar to everyone else that becomes a professional dancer. I started in ballet at Pamela Wingfield School of Dance, and I only took ballet until I went to college. And then when I went to college, I studied dance there too. Studied at 344 Dance Center. I went to summer school at London Studio Center, and it's a little different there. But I graduated with a BTEC National Diploma in Dance, and I loved everything about my training, and I knew that I wanted to have a career in dance, and however long that was going to last for and however long that was going to be, I was just excited to pursue everything that I wanted to achieve.
So Bristol, England. That's definitely far from Florida.
It
How
is.
did you end up on the other side of the ocean?
Um, well, I actually met my husband in Florida. We judged competition together, and we went our separate ways again, and then eventually met back up through the industry and ended up moving to Florida to be with him because he lives in Florida. He's originally from New York, but he resides in Florida. So that's how I ended up here.
All right. So how long have you been in Florida now?
Um, this is my 10th year in Florida.
Okay. I notice you don't really have much of an English accent.
Yeah,
Um,
it's funny because when I go home, people say, "Oh, you sound American now." And when I'm here, some people still like, "Oh, you sound like you're from Boston."
Boston. Interesting. Amanda's
Yeah, I
nodding
get
over
that a
there.
lot.
I know. Yeah, there's a couple of words that you say that definitely have an accent to them, but I'm not sure I would place it as England's. So you've created your own unique accent, is what you've done.
Right.
All right. So you're judging competitions. You're involved professionally as a dancer. You meet this man who manages to convince you to come across the halfway across the world to Florida to live. How do you get involved in a dance competition? What was the impetus to start that?
When I moved to Florida, I started to do choreography for a lot of local studios here in Orlando. I taught a lot of Meister classes around, and I had also judged, like me and my husband have judged worldwide. My husband's judged in Jamaica, USA, the UK. I've judged in Germany, Chile, Malaysia, France. So we've judged a lot of international competitions, and then we've also judged, in the USA as well. So we know a lot of people in the industry, and I was sat down with some of my friends that were studio owners one day, and I was like, "How did your latest competition go?" And they were discussing the feedback that they received from the judges, and it was their last event of the season, and they were kind of similarly saying, we just wanted more feedback. Like we want a competition with more feedback. So I was like, well, we can do that. Like we can make that happen. And so they're like, okay, do it. If you do it, we'll come. So we started off in Orlando our first year. And I was like, let's do live critique, but let's also do audio critique for them to take home as well. Because then the judges get even more time. Because when you just do the audio critique, you can only if you think of something after, you don't get to go back and say it to that dancer because you're already on to the next dancer. So I was like, let's do the best of both worlds because no one's ever done that before. People have done live critique and people do audio critique, but no one's ever done both. So I was like, let's do both and see how it works. So we did it for our first event and everyone loved it and they were sold. So they're like, let's keep going with this. So that's how it started. Just a few friends sat down talking about things in the world and try to make a change and make a difference.
So how many competitions are you going to be running in the 2022 season?
So we haven't decided that yet. We started in 2019 and we just did an Orlando event. Then obviously 2020, COVID hit, and we did Orlando live event again. But we also did virtual competitions. And then in 2021 we did Orlando and virtual. And then we were going to do Orlando again in 2022, and probably we're going to go out of that in 2023. That's our goal, definitely, to expand, and we would have expanded much sooner if it wasn't for COVID, but we just wanted to make sure we stayed with our base for the first couple of years to make sure that we were good and set up any kinks that we had just resolved in our hometown before we went on the road.
All right. Now that's an interesting setup that you have. How difficult is it for you to find judges that are able to handle the ability? Because live critiquing is a different skill set than you know, just sort of providing your thoughts as the competition goes along. How do you go about selecting your judges? How do you find them, and how do you intend to train them?
So I think the good thing is that we do know a lot of judges because we judge for a lot of different brands. So we know we've sat next to people and heard their critiques, you know, along with you. And it's about finding like-minded people that are invested in giving like great feedback to these dancers to help them go back to the studio and improve. So I think for us, we knew a lot of people. We knew a lot of people that were well trained already, and we knew a lot of people that are really invested in the kids that they're watching and really enjoy what they're doing. So it was easy for us to find great judges for that. And obviously it is live shows, so you do want them to be entertaining as well for the audience members, because that's part of it that everyone loves, that it's so entertaining. So it was easy for us to find amongst a lot of our industry friends, good people. And we've been very lucky with everyone that we've hired so far.
Excellent. Well, I know a lot of people that are watching are going to probably be hoping that you do expand, because it does sound like something that people are going to want to be able to take advantage of. We have to take a quick break. When we come back, I understand you do have a performance from one of your competitions that you'll share with us, so I'll have you set that up once we return. Now we'll just watch this.